Okay, first and foremost, prophecy? What the hell is that? With a stupid title like that, no wonder you had to throw the monster movie on the poster, otherwise people would think this is some fantasy flick or some shit. So, Prophecy starts off with a group of rescue workers heading out in the forest to find some missing hunters when they start getting picked off by some unknown thing.
Ready? Jim? Hey, Bill!
Okay, who in their right mind, after hearing both a dog and two other guys screaming for their lives at the bottom of pitch blackness, would be like, oh, I better go down there. Screw that, I'd already be back to the truck by now. The movie stars Robert Foxworth and the lovely Talia Shire, and no, I will not be making any Rocky jokes anywhere in this review. Come on, I'm better than that. Anyway, they play a married couple that get hired to go to Maine to deal with some local native people over a land dispute. Oh, and she's pregnant and doesn't want to tell them.
Look!
That dog is like, whoa, shit, dude! Once they get to Maine, they find out that animals in the area, such as this phony-looking giant salmon that eats a duck, are growing massive in scale because of some sort of chemical in the water. What could be the cause? The evil paper mill. Fun fact, this movie was actually filmed in British Columbia, Canada, very near where I live in an area called Cowichan. I've driven past the same mill used in this movie and it smells horrible, like someone took the sweat from 100 dirty feet and bathed in it, then made you smell them. Turns out the paper mill has been dumping mercury into the water, which is screwing with the animals. Such as this brilliant, truly, truly brilliant scene where our heroes are attacked by a psychotic raccoon. Oh, and Talia ate a fish he caught from the lake, so now her baby might be all messed up too. But they never really show the outcome of this subplot, so sure glad that was in there. Now you may be wondering, isn't this a monster movie? Don't they say a monster movie right on the fucking poster? Where the ass is the monster? I was wondering the same thing.
I am a banana!
So, this is what we've been building up to, eh? A skinless bear that looks like a giant piece of uncooked meat. Yeah, this thing is called Katahdin, and it looks awful. Apparently, at some point in production, it was supposed to look more like the thing on the poster, but the director, John Frankenheimer, which is a crazy last name, decided he wanted it to look more like a bear. Which doesn't make sense because you never once see it on all fours like a bear. It's always running around on its hind legs, which is, it's just stupid. Oh, I'm at the radio tower, exactly where I need to be, but instead I think I'll go investigate the sound that is clearly flies, which always means a dead body. There's no way this can go wrong. Oh no. Prophecy is a good example of a movie that had a ton of potential and it was just squandered. Both by the director himself and dumbass Paramount Pictures for forcing him to cut back all the gore in an effort to give the movie a PG rating, even though in Canada it's still R for some reason. It takes way too long for the damn bear to actually show up, and because of how crappy the suit looks, you never really see much of it anyway. It's always too dark. The two leads do a good job as far as acting goes, but this movie is about a giant mutated bear. It didn't need to take itself this seriously. I did like one moment where our characters are hiding in a tunnel and you can hear Katahdin killing people off screen. I liked this. It was effective, but not worth sitting through almost 2 hours of dull as hell drama about land disputes. You can safely skip Prophecy. It's not nearly as good as it had the potential to be. Dead Space was one of the freakiest, most claustrophobic gaming experiences I've ever had. Navigating dark halls, never being able to trust what's a corpse and what's a necromorph. God, it was great. That game has nothing to do with this movie. I just can't emphasize enough how much I'd rather be playing that instead. So Dead Space was released in 1991 and is essentially a remake of Forbidden World, a Roger Corman flick from 1982. I haven't seen that movie, but why do I get the overwhelming feeling that it's so much better?
Oh. But you didn't account for this.
Jesus, we killing people off already? How far into this are we? 2 minutes? Sweet, this is getting off to a great start. Wow, that music really sets the tone. I'm truly terrified. Terrified a fucking leprechaun or something might pop up somewhere. So a man by the name of Commander Steve Krieger, played by Mark Singer, who is trying way too fucking hard to be Han Solo, receives a distress call from a research facility somewhere. But along the way, gets into an epic battle with other aliens. I don't know, it's not really explained. Or maybe it was and I just didn't care enough to pay attention. I don't know. Either way, this is the most exciting part of the entire movie, so I hope you enjoyed it.
I'm Commander Steve Krieger.
Upon arrival at the base, he learns that the team has found a space virus. And in an effort to fight the space virus, they made another virus that can mutate or something. Honestly, this shit was so confusing. Oh yeah, a young pre-Heisenberg Bryan Cranston is in this. This was back in his Preparation H days, long before we would all say his name.
Now you can relieve inflamed hemorrhoidal tissue with the oxygen action of Preparation H.
And you know what? It shouldn't be to anyone's surprise that he's the best actor in this thing. At least he kinda tries. Is there some cream I can rub on my ass to make me forget I ever watched this fucking movie? So the alien virus thing gets loose by climbing into this woman's face before busting out of her chest in a very blatant rip-off of Alien, and then runs off into the facility wreaking havoc. Kind of. That's your whole plot, so let's talk about the effects, I guess. The alien grows throughout the movie, and in its final form, kinda looks like the alien queen from Aliens. Honestly, it isn't that bad of a practical effect, but the problem is that every single shot of this damn thing, besides maybe one in the entire movie, is obscured by fog or shot up really close. Why do this? You have a somewhat decent looking puppet. Why in God's name would you keep it hidden the whole fucking time? Also, the movie's editing is all over the place. It's an incredibly short movie, only lasting about 70 minutes, so I get that they had to keep things short, but it just doesn't make sense. One moment they go from fear of an alien to giving each other back massages with music that sounds like a cheap 70s porno. Seriously, what the hell is going on? You just met less than what feels like an hour ago, and already you're having sex?
Marissa.
Oh, it's a dream. How'd the alien get in the mattress? What is the obsession with fog? I'm not joking, every single shot in this entire movie is covered in fog. Bet it's to hide their shitty sets and to try and pretend they didn't walk into a random desert to film this crap. No, not... What was his name again? What? Oh yeah, Tin Pan. No, not Tin Pan. This movie sucks. Holy God. It's only 70 minutes long, but it felt like 2 hours. It's so damn boring. The pacing is all over the place, and the alien has barely any screen time at all. Really, the poster is better than the movie. That's sad, but hey, at least you get to see Bryan Cranston get his head popped off. So, there's that. Let me warn all of you right now, I'm only going to say this once. If you're triggered by hair and hair coming in and going out of people's orifices, maybe this video ain't for you, you know? On the other hand, if hair is your fetish, well, young man, I'm about to make your wildest dreams a reality and turn you into a grown-up. XD, otherwise known as Hair Extensions, was released in 2007 and stars the absolutely gorgeous Chiaki Kiriyama, who foreign movie fans will recognize from the incredible Battle Royale, which I regard as one of my favorite movies ever made, but people who aren't as well versed in the Asian movie market may recognize her as Gogo Yubari from Kill Bill. She's a hell of an actress, but in this she's a little, well, when we first meet her, she talks to herself in a weird way where it could be considered quirky, but because I'm such a cynical asshole, I just see it as the director's way of shoving character backstory down her throat as quickly as possible. Anyway, dock workers find a shipping container completely packed to the brim with hair, and a corpse to boot. At the morgue, the mortician, who has an insanely crazy hair fetish, decides to take the corpse home so he can collect its hair, cause it's perfect hair. Suddenly, the corpse starts growing hair non-stop, so this psycho starts cutting it and turning it into hair extensions, so he can sell them to the local salons. Gotta fund your freak fetish somehow, I guess. Turns out, anyone who wears these special extensions either goes batshit crazy and goes on a murder spree, or the hair just decides to go homicidal and kill the wearer itself. It's never consistent. Such as this scene where the hair slides into the dresser's ear and makes her have a Vietnam flashback where we get to see exactly what happened to the corpse that is growing all this hair. I'm sorry, but how fucking self-absorbed do you have to be to not notice that your hairdresser right behind you is having a full-blown mental breakdown? I'm torn on how I feel about this movie. On the one hand, it plays out more like a family drama than it does a horror movie, dealing with child abuse and whatnot, so it's a serious movie during these scenes and really shows off our cast's acting chops, especially Chiaki and the little girl, both do a great job. But on the other hand, there are some pretty screwed up things that happen in this, and the imagery is visually really disturbing. However, there are scenes where it just goes full-blown cartoon mode. Like, what the actual fuck, man? It looks like one of those wind-up teeth things that chatter around on the floor. The freakiest part of this movie is easily the dude with the hair fetish. I mean, not only does he cut the hair off dead bodies and sell it, but he dresses up like Waldo and walks around in public recording women's hair on this big-ass, totally obvious video camera. Oh, and he likes to sing.
Hey ya, my hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, my hey ya, hey ya.
A lot. I love this guy.
Let it grow!
XD is disturbing for sure, but not exactly scary. It's more of a character drama that just so happens to have a hair-growing malicious corpse sprinkled in it. It's a bit slow at times, and it takes a little while before things really start going off the rails, but I enjoyed it personally. But I have a hard time recommending it to everyone because it's just not going to appeal to everyone. Look at it this way, if you like Junji Ito stuff like Uzumaki and want to be visually disturbed, this is for you. If you're expecting a ghostly horror show like The Grudge, this isn't it. I think everyone who calls themselves fans of Resident Evil and survival horror in general is aware of what Sweet Home is. To the uninformed, Sweet Home was a survival horror RPG that was released exclusively in Japan in 1989 on the Famicom and has never seen an official release over here besides a fan-translated ROM. It was created by Takuro Fujiwara, who would later go on to produce Resident Evil, so to say that Sweet Home is what we have to thank for giving us Resident Evil is an understatement. Or is it? Believe it or not, the same year Sweet Home was released on the Famicom, a movie was also released, and would you believe me when I tell you that the game was actually based on this movie? I mean, there's a lot of speculation that the game came first, or the movie came first, it's an argument, but based on the research that I've found, it would seem that the movie, in fact, came out first. So, a small TV crew consisting of a producer, a host, a coordinator, a camera guy, and the producer's daughter arrive at the Mamiya mansion to film a documentary on the discovery and restoration of a fresco left behind by the painter Ichiro Mamiya. Along the way, one of the crew members does something to piss off the malicious spirit of Mamiya's wife, who committed suicide many years ago, and now we have our spooky haunted house movie. Another character shows up who owns a local gas station but just so happens to know the curse and the history behind the mansion. He's played by famous movie producer Juzo Itami, who also happened to produce this very movie as well. Right off the bat, this movie manages to capture an atmosphere and vibe that I'm actually having a hard time trying to describe. Do you remember the first time you played the original Resident Evil and started wandering around the mansion halls, but before you encountered any zombies? It's kind of like that. It's not fear per se, not total fear anyway, it's more of an uneasy feeling. This movie captures it beautifully in every shot. The movie's score is also very, very good and was composed by Masaya Matsuura, who would later go on to make the music for the Parappa the Rapper series. Yeah, I mean, you don't think of a rhythm game when you think of a horror movie, but whatever. Though there are times when it doesn't fit. Like, seriously, am I watching a horror movie or playing The Legend of Zelda? Other times, though, it fits perfectly and is a brutally underappreciated score. It's on Spotify, but let's be honest, who the hell is going to be actively searching for the Sweet Home score besides weirdos like me? But where this movie really excels is in its practical effects. Holy hot shit fucking damn, is it some good stuff. From simple stuff like a shadow moving across the wall to a guy's upper torso dragging itself across a floor, and this shot is quite freaky honestly, to a scene where a guy's body dissolves to such great detail that I dare to say it even puts the Nazi melting scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark to shame. The effects were actually done by special effects guru Dick Smith, who also happened to do the effects work for Scanners and a little movie called The Exorcist. Yeah, so obviously this guy knows his shit, and nothing makes that more apparent than this monster here. Holy crap, that is absolutely stunning. Unfortunately, for some reasons I can't fathom at all, Sweet Home has never been released in North America, and has never even seen a DVD release in Japan either. To my knowledge, it's only on VHS and Laserdisc. And apparently the version currently out isn't even the version director Kiyoshi Kurosawa wanted released. The movie's producer, Juzo Itami, you know, the gas station guy, had a bunch of stuff reshot and re-edited for its home release. But in 1997, Itami was found dead after having jumped from his office building after news found out that he was having an affair, and even his death is as strange as this movie's history. In 2008, a former member of the Gotogumi clan in the Yakuza told a reporter that, and I quote, "We set it up to stage his murder as a suicide. We dragged him up to the rooftop and put a gun in his face. We gave him a choice, jump and you might live, or stay and we'll blow your face off. He jumped, he didn't live." End quote. Like, what the fuck? So, I mean, I doubt Toho is ever going to release this, which is a crime, because this deserves it. I want to see behind-the-scenes stuff, because damn it, would it ever be interesting. Someone like Scream Factory, or hell, I'll even settle for Mill Creek, needs to entice Toho enough to get a master print so more people can see this movie. God, this movie is horribly underrated and does not deserve its obscurity. The game is fairly well known amongst gamers, but the movie is rarely talked about, and that's bullshit. Everything about it is great. The atmosphere, the music, the special effects, even the characters are done well. I mean, it takes a little while for things to kick off, so if a slow burn isn't really your thing, just skip this. But for anyone else, seek this out. Now, trust me, you will not be disappointed. For the longest time growing up, I would always see VHS copies of Graveyard Shift in various video stores, and I would always wonder what it was about, but I never got around to seeing it. Until now. The movie starts with a guy working in some textile shop.
Want to do me a favor? Help me load the next order? You're no lady, Doris. Far from it.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and clean up rat piss with the hand I just punched a rusty nail with. Great. Good job, GG. So this guy is just batshit crazy, I guess, because he starts killing rats and talking to them like he's in a classroom.
Good morning, boys and girls. Did we all remember to bring our homework assignments today?
What the actual hell is going on? Did the rats kill him? So essentially, people working at this textile shop ran by a guy who eats apples far too aggressively, keeps dying. But no one knows they are dying. They just assume that these people are getting sick of their jobs and quit. Turns out something is killing off the workers, only during the graveyard shift, and no one would hold it against you if you assumed it was the rats. Our hero, John, played by David Andrews, who I only recognize because of Terminator 3, gets hired at this place for the graveyard shift where he spends his nights slingshotting empty Diet Pepsi cans at rats. And they really emphasize the whole Pepsi thing. I wonder how much the sponsorship deal was. At the same time, an ex-Vietnam vet turned rat exterminator, played by the always great Brad Dourif, is busy trying to get rid of the rat infestation at the mill. I'm not exaggerating when I say Brad is the single best part of the movie, and really the only reason I kept watching. Until they crushed his head with a fucking coffin. Oh, come on, now I gotta sit through another half hour of this shit without him. So, remember when I said you'd be forgiven if you thought this movie was about killer rats? Well, it's not rats, it's a giant bat, but you can barely tell. Every time someone dies, it's either an accident, such as Brad Dourif's head squish, or something that they don't even show kills them, such as this stupid woman falling down the stairs and just... God! Yes, people, this is the level of quality we're dealing with here. So, still completely unknown to the workers and owner, a cleanup crew is sent down into the basement of the textile shop to clean the place up, and this is when the movie finally starts, 45 minutes into its runtime. For some reason, this guy has an explosive orgasm every time he uses the hose. What the hell? They find a hole in the floor. Everyone goes into the hole in the floor that takes them into an old mine shaft, and... I'm sorry, did that fucking skeleton just roar? Ugh. Also, the manager of the mill goes completely insane down here for some reason and starts trying to kill people. Why? They never explain this. He just suddenly decides, fuck it, I'm gonna kill people. Here, I'm going to show you one of the only scenes where you actually get to see the monster, so you can be spared from having to sit through almost an hour and a half for this glorious payoff. The finale is about as intense as watching an ignited bag of dog shit burn out on your porch. The bat gets stuck in the textile machine, and using the power of super slow-mo and Diet Pepsi, our hero kills the bat. There you go, now you don't ever have to watch this movie. This movie is trash. I might even go so far as to say it's one of the worst Stephen King adaptations I've seen yet. It's boring as all hell, with very little payoff when the monster shows up. In the short story this movie was based on, the monster is a giant queen rat that keeps producing ungodly amounts of baby rats, hence why the place has a rat problem. In this, the monster is a bat, which doesn't explain why the rats are there, or man-eaters, or any stupid shit like that. Seriously, I don't usually give ratings, but this one would be like a 1 if I had to give it one. The only thing that gave it any glimmer of hope was this chick's midriff and Brad Dourif.
God! Damn! Whoa! Adios, motherfuckers!
When I was growing up, back in the video store days of VHS, there were 2 giant underwater monster movies that came out with almost the exact same plot. This one, Deep Star 6, and Leviathan, and for most of my childhood, I would always mix up the two. Anyway, yeah, this is Deep Star 6, which was released in 1989. That same year saw the releases of this movie, Leviathan, The Abyss, The Evil Below, Lords of the Deep, and The Rift. Seriously, people nowadays say it's weird that 2 movies about the White House getting attacked came out the same year, yet 6 movies about underwater monsters were released in 1989. Why? Was it because they all knew The Abyss was coming out and wanted to cash in on it? So, a US Navy team working in an underwater facility dealing with nuclear missiles or some shit open up an ancient cavern, and inside the cavern is home to some giant oversized, I don't even know what they are, giant sea scorpions or something. They give us a pretty big roster of characters to hang out with down here, but none of them are interesting, with the exception of Snyder, played by the late Miguel Ferrer. Mainly because in this he's a total dick and goes completely insane later into the movie. But honestly, given how little the monster even appears in this movie, I'd go so far as to say that Miguel's character might as well be the antagonist. Shinji's dead? This is another one of those movies that says, hey, we're a giant monster movie, but features less than probably 5 total minutes of actual monster. For nearly the first hour and 10 minutes of the movie, most of the characters' deaths are caused by accidents or they die off screen. Like these guys.
I can't believe it! She got the sea track. Mayday, mayday! Look at the fucking size of that thing!
I'd sure like to see what you're seeing. This is stupid, because the monster effects aren't bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, they aren't in any way groundbreaking, but they are competent at least. There are some shots where the creature looks genuinely cool. Why do they always do this? Dead Space did the same damn thing. You're a monster movie. Show us the monster. There's a nice little homage at the end of the movie though, so spoilers, obviously. Just when you think our two remaining heroes are safe, a surviving monster bursts out of the water in a scene very reminiscent of Friday the 13th's ending when Jason jumps up and grabs the chick in the canoe. This isn't a coincidence. This movie was directed and produced by Sean Cunningham, same guy that directed Friday. This movie is pretty forgettable, honestly. That's probably why I was always confusing it with Leviathan. There isn't much about it that stands out aside from the weird looking monster effects and a kind of gnarly decompression scene. If we aren't counting The Abyss, I'd say if you're going to watch only one of the 1989 underwater monster movies, go with Leviathan. They are pretty much the same movie anyway. This one is just kind of meh. Komodo was released in 1999 and was written by Hans Bauer, who also did the screenplays for Anaconda 1 and 2 and was directed by Michael Lantieri. Why am I telling you this? Because the movie's cover really wants to make sure you know. So, some hippie-looking guy is transporting exotic animals, I assume, when he catches a whiff of something funky, so he tosses the source of the stank, a group of Komodo dragon eggs. Why would you just throw away Komodo dragon eggs? 19 summers. Oh, piss off. Just say years, you pretentious shits. Anyway, a kid played by young Kevin Zegers is back in his Air Bud days, and his parents head to a small island where they have a summer cottage. Shortly after arriving, the dumb little bastard runs off into the woods somewhere and forces his parents to come searching for him, resulting in him witnessing not only his parents get torn to pieces by the Komodos, but his dog too. That'll teach ya. Shortly after, a therapist, played by the gorgeous Jill Hennessy, takes the kid back to the island for a little exposure therapy, and, well, shit goes wrong. Honestly, I was not expecting much from this movie, and then the Komodos show up, and holy shit, they actually look good. Damn good, especially considering this was such a small movie made back in 1999. I mean, you see on the cover that they really try to push the fact that a Jurassic Park special effect guy is working on this, but they don't tell you that he's just the director. The special effects were actually done by Tippett Studios, who have a long history of CGI work, including, yes, Jurassic Park, kind of. To combat the problem, Bella's dad from the Twilight movies, yeah, I'm not joking, is sent onto the island by some evil dude with a foreign accent, so you just know he's a prick, to hunt down and kill the Komodos, along with his trusty sidekick whose name I can't really even remember. There's a great part where one of the dragons gets stuck in the back window of their car, and then they crash. Kind of reminds me of the opening cinematic in Resident Evil 2. I don't really know why, though.
Patrick!
Screw it! Let him go. Let little mini Dahmer over here get killed. Spare some future lives. Seriously, just listen to what the kid says just prior to this.
What are these things? I mean, what the hell is going on here?
I think they're contesting our place in the food chain.
Who says that? Oh, and he cut out the dead Komodo's heart and ran off with it too. That kid... the kid's fucked up. Think I'm joking? Later on, the kid's suddenly setting traps and fighting these things like he's Rambo or some shit. Holy crap, dude! We find out the Komodos are pissed off because an oil company has killed all the animal life on the island or something, but they aren't subtle about it at all. They act like it's some huge reveal, meanwhile they keep long, static shots on oil pipes and a shot of a factory. Like, come on, we get it. People suck. The writing is just bleh. I mean, it was written by the guy that wrote Anaconda, so I wasn't expecting much. None of the characters are really all that memorable, with the exception of the kid, because he's just a straight-up sociopath. The obvious stars of the movie are the Komodos, but unfortunately, they really aren't in the movie all that much. I remember renting this back when I was a kid on VHS and liking it a lot more when I was 7. The director is a really talented special effects guy, and that is where he needs to stay. He clearly figured this out because, to my knowledge, this is the only thing he ever directed. But hey, it's gotta be better than Curse of the Komodo, right? Oh, God. I am incredibly fond of the Fatal Frame series. They are some of the most terrifying horror gaming experiences a person could ever have. As a matter of fact, one of my most nostalgic gaming nights was spent with my buddy Alan as we binge ate containers of what we dubbed our stress food and marathon through Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly, and shit ourselves a whole bunch of times. In fact, I soft modded my Wii solely so I could buy the Wii remake of Fatal Frame 2 that was only released in Europe and Japan. So yeah, to say I'm a fan is a bit of an understatement. So you can imagine my equal parts excitement and skepticism when I heard a Fatal Frame movie was being made. We know that video games and movies don't ever mix, and I never got around to seeing it when it was new, but as part of FRIGHTOBER I figured, what the hell, let's tackle it. Right off the bat, let me get something out of the way that most fans are probably not aware of before they dive into this movie. It's not based on the video games. Not entirely, anyway. Rather than being based on any of the stories within the games universe, for some reason I can't even fathom, they based it on a spin-off novel called Zero, A Curse Affecting Only Girls. So, Fatal Frame takes place in an all-girls Catholic boarding school where the most popular girl in the entire school, named Aya, for reasons unknown, decides to lock herself up in her room. A girl with a hardcore crush on Aya kisses a photo of her at midnight and vanishes soon after. Eventually, a ton of the girls in the school become horny for Aya's photo and begin obsessing over it, while they start seeing apparitions of Aya in their daily lives. Now, you might be wondering, where the hell does the most signature item of the entire game franchise fit into that? Well, I'll get into that later. Visually, this movie is really well shot. The reason I'm pointing this out is because many Japanese horror films have this really amateur look to them, where it sort of looks like you're watching just a bigger budget YouTube video rather than an actual movie. This movie doesn't have that problem. It actually looks and feels like a film. There are some genuinely really cool looking shots in this movie. That being said, this movie is just not scary. You'd think some of the scariest games ever made would translate into a terrifying horror movie, but this one just doesn't. It's got an atmosphere to it, a sense of unease that kind of permeates the entire movie, but it's not at any point scary. There are very brief moments where it looks like it might get scary, but it never delivers, which I'm not gonna lie, was pretty damn disappointing. I wanted to shit my pants. So let's talk about the camera obscura, the most central part of what makes Fatal Frame, well, Fatal Frame. It's in this, a little kid carries around. But not one single time is it actually used to capture any spirits, nor does it serve any sort of purpose in the plot at all. It's literally just kind of there as a prop for reasons that make no sense. This didn't need to be called Fatal Frame. In fact, if it hadn't been called Fatal Frame, you would never have seen any connection between this and the games, other than the use of the camera in like 2 or 3 scenes. Honestly, the movie Shudder is more of a Fatal Frame movie than Fatal Frame is. Is it a bad movie? No, it's not bad at all. I mean, it's incredibly slow, but well acted and beautiful to look at, and does a good job of portraying lesbian relationships in Japan, but it's not something I honestly think people expecting the games translated to film are gonna like. But if you're just looking for a slower, atmospheric, supernatural mystery and can ignore the weak Fatal Frame connection, you may enjoy this. This feels like one of those movies that would get released over here with like Guillermo del Toro presents on its poster. Not directed by, just presents, if that makes any sense. Psycho is a film that needs no introduction whatsoever. I mean, it's one of the greatest slasher movies ever made, and you know what? If you don't compare it to the masterpiece that is Psycho, even Psycho 2 is pretty good. 3 and 4 can go to hell, but 1 and 2, solid stuff. A&E even managed to take a single movie like Psycho and, using great writing, very charismatic actors, and some modern liberties with the license, turned it into one of the most underrated television shows I can think of in recent memory. Seriously, if you haven't given the modern-day Bates Motel show a watch, do so. But while the modern-day Bates Motel series has come and gone, many people may not realize that that wasn't the first time they tried. Way back in 1987, a made-for-TV movie was released on basic cable, and this is that movie, for better or worse, mostly worse. So in this version of Bates Motel, which completely ignores Psycho 2, a random little boy named Alex, who decided it was a good idea to push his dad into a laundry machine, happens to be staying at the same mental hospital that Norman has been put in. Ignoring the fact that Norman is a psychopath that killed his mother and a bunch of other people, the doctor decides, fuck it, let's toss this kid in with Norman and see if they become buddies. Well, they do become buddies. They even call Norman the dad that Alex never had. Creepy. But Norman dies, leaving the Bates Motel to grown-up, socially awkward Alex, played by Bud Cort. Yep, that's actually what they went with. Which is primed for all kinds of wacky, slapsticky humor.
Hold it right there!
Oh my god, it's Big Bird! Yeah, I don't know what the hell kind of tone they were going for with this thing, but when I think of Psycho, the last thing that comes to mind is Lori Petty dressed up in a giant chicken suit. What the hell? Hitchcock would be rolling in his grave if he saw this shit. Anyway, after Alex moves into the hotel and takes out a loan, we get to bear witness to all kinds of exciting things like construction, funerals, Lori being a pain in the ass, and Alex fixing up the Bates Motel, completely transforming it from the iconic design it has in Psycho into a damned cabana resort-looking piece of crap. During construction, they find the buried corpse of Norman's mother, which, wait a sec, at the end of Psycho, spoilers if you're one person who hasn't seen it, at the end of the movie, they find Dear Sweet Mother sitting in a chair in the basement, and then right after that, Norman is caught. So you're telling me Norman somehow magically was able to escape jail and the mental hospital to come back here and bury his mom? Come on, if you're gonna leech off the damn Psycho name, at least get your continuity right, you piece of ass. Oh, and this isn't a slasher movie like you'd expect from something birthed out of the Psycho family. No, this is a spoopy ghost story. Alex keeps seeing figures, windows slam shut on their own, stuff like that. At one point, a random woman comes to the hotel to commit suicide, but shortly after, a huge group of youngsters that look like they stepped right out of the 50s, including a young Jason Bateman, yeah, no joke, show up and try to befriend her. Guess why? Because all these teens killed themselves in the past and are trying to save her life. That's so unspeakably stupid that I haven't even got words. They didn't even end their lives at the motel, for Christ's sake. They did it all over the country. What, so the ghosts all just happened to convene on the motel at that one convenient moment? Thank God this version of Bates Motel was not greenlit as the TV show they were trying to make, because it's just a piss-poor attempt at making a Ghost of the Week type of show with Psycho as its diving board. None of the characters are interesting in the slightest, and it's incredibly dull. I'm talking watching dog shit dry in the sun dull. This is a disgrace to the Psycho name and legacy left behind by Hitchcock, and he's even more pointless in its existence than Gus Van Sant's shot-for-shot remake where Vince Vaughn, of all people, was Norman Bates.
Nobody ever said life was easy. Then nothing really worth it ever is. But you know, I think with a little luck, we're gonna do okay here. I think Norman would have liked that. Oh, by the way, if you ever need a room, come on by. Can't say for sure what you'll find, but that is what makes the world go round.
Alligator II, The Mutation. Oh boy. Alligator II is a straight-to-video sequel, so you already know we're diving deep down into some real thick sewage, to the fairly underrated Alligator from 1980. Divers go fishing in a small-town lake and are eaten by something. Detective David Hodges, played by the honestly pretty enjoyable John Bologna, takes it upon himself to investigate. Okay, I know his name is pronounced Bologna. At least I think it is. In this, it just seems like he's phoning it in. He knew what kind of shit he was getting into.
That's it, gentlemen. Beautiful, isn't it? Nothing goes to less than $700,000.
Hey, how much you want to bet this guy's a shady real estate asshole?
Zoning, tax incentives.
Called it. This guy's Vinny. Basically, he is trying to buy out all the homeowners in this area so he can build condos or some shit. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what any of this has to do with an alligator, but whatever.
Till they break the law, there's nothing I can do about it.
So the alligator came up to get the ball, but it didn't bother to grab the little kid who was conveniently standing right along the edge of the water. I call bullshit. It's not like the gator was trying to play Metal Gear Solid. I mean, there isn't much plot to even go on here. The city mayor is in cahoots with dickhead Vinny and refuses to shut down a lake party Vinny is planning to throw. Kinda reminds me of another dickhead mayor from another movie I'd much, much rather be watching right now. There's a romantic subplot between the mayor's daughter and some cop. Man, I don't care. Where's the fucking alligator? About 30 minutes into the movie, the alligator starts using homeless people as toothpicks, but it just looks real bad. Also, the gator likes to tail whip people. Seriously, more people get tail whipped throughout the movie than they get eaten. Most of the scenes with the gator take place in the sewers, and every time it eats anyone, all we ever see is its nose. It's as if the puppet sucked so much they just didn't want to show it. At any time it's a full body shot of the gator, they just use footage of an actual alligator walking around. Does anybody else hate when movies do that? I came here to see a ridiculous giant alligator puppet, not shit I could see on Animal Planet. A team of alligator hunters are called in to try and kill this thing because Detective Hodges couldn't do it. They even try blowing it up with dynamite and it doesn't do anything. But really, the only reason the hunters show up in the first place is because we needed cannon fodder so the gator would actually have people to kill. I'm gonna spoil the ending for you now, because, well, it sucks, and anyone with a rational human brain would choose not to sit through this movie. I did it for you guys. So our heroes decide to once again try the dynamite trick. The gator eats the dynamite and basically turns into a walking bomb. After this, it attacks the lakeside carnival. Yes, finally a rampage. Now let's see some mayhem. Heh, who am I kidding? In a giant group of hundreds of people tripping over each other and shit, the alligator only eats one person. Ugh. Anyway, there is a huge showdown where our heroes battle the gator in the lake. Hodges sticks a poisonous chemical into the gator's stomach, which doesn't do a damn thing. And then suddenly, when all hope seems lost...
Try this. Huh? You ever fire one of these things? No. You? Never.
You guys have rocket launchers? Seriously? Why were rocket launchers the backup plan? Shouldn't they have been plan A right from the fucking start? Now, instead of blowing up the gator in the lake by shooting it from the chopper, which would have been awesome, and ending the movie cuts to the sewer again, where these two walk in and shoot the gator, and it's just a fucking lame-ass finale. This movie sucks hard. It's just a dull, really poorly made remake, essentially, of the first Alligator movie. But that movie was actually pretty good. This is just a waste of time. Skip this. Watch 1980s Alligator instead. Boom, there you go. Just spared you an hour and a half that I will never get back. Make that time count, people, please.
Aliens is regarded by many to be one of the best action movies ever made. But fuck that, who needs great actors, great effects, great direction, or Bill Paxton, rest his soul, when you've got Alien II on Earth? This brilliant piece of cinema was directed by Italian director Ciro Ippolito, under the name Sam Cromwell in 1980, and as you can probably already guess from the title, is one of those unofficial Italian rip-off sequels in the same vein as, say, Zombie 2 was a sequel to Dawn of the Dead. Alien 2 revolves around a group of friends who go cave spelunking. On the way to the cave, one of the team finds a blue rock and brings it along with them. Surprise, surprise, the blue rock is an alien, and yeah, there's your summary. Is this supposed to be a horror movie, or is everybody about to break out into song? Seriously, I feel like I'm watching the beginnings of a Queen music video. Now, if my experiences with Jaws 5 and The Last Shark are any indication, this movie is gonna fucking blow harder than a porn star on prom night. Every corner the director could possibly cut, he cut. Just the dumbest shit you could possibly think of, too. Like this shot, for example, where the same audio from the dub is looped like 3 times in a row.
Delma? Delma? Delma?
I can't really blame the director for that one, though, since it is in the dub after all, he didn't do it. But what he did do was make the most boring and long lingering takes he could possibly get in an effort to, I don't know, pad this piece of shit out to make it as long as he possibly could. I mean, look at this crap. Do we really, really need to watch them climb all the way down? Or this shot where the camera pans for what feels like a fucking eternity.
On top of that, there's just so much shit that doesn't make any sense. Like, why did she just wander out into the middle of a beach and yell at a little girl for no reason?
What's the matter, honey? Lucy, why are you crying? Come on, sweetheart, it's time to go home.
How do you cry with no face? Come on now. Oh my god. Whoa, I wasn't expecting that level of gore. That's the best special effect in the whole movie, by the way. Every other shot of the quote-unquote alien is stuff like this where it's clearly just people wearing blood-covered gloves, or this shot where it looks like this guy's getting attacked by chicken strips dipped in sweet and sour sauce. Oh yeah, I guess now is a good enough time as any to mention that the main chick is sidekick. Don't worry though, it has no point at all in the story, so I don't even know why I brought it up. So, the last two remaining people get out of the cave and run into the city where they get attacked by the alien once again in a bowling alley. But apparently now the alien has the power to teleport because it goes from being far behind her to suddenly cutting via the magic of a shitty edit to right in front of her.
Help me, please!
Oh, you are not gonna try and pull the whole, oh, the aliens wiped out all of mankind bullshit kind of ending when the shot less than 5 minutes ago of them coming into town had fucking people walking around. Screw you, Alien 2. Done with you. Apparently the director, when he was given the money to make this movie, spent a big chunk of it on a fancy new car. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with here. He was also almost sued for $10 million by 20th Century Fox for using the Alien name, but they lost the lawsuit because some lawyer pointed out that there was already a book from the 30s called Alien. Alright. And then the cunt had the gall to try and sue the creators of The Descent in 2005 because that movie's plot was too similar to this one. He lost, thank God. Sitting through this movie was like having a hemorrhoid removed from my asshole with a scalpel with no numbing. I'd rather watch Dead Space again than sit through this movie. I'd rather tie my balls to a doorknob and kick the fucking thing down in the opposite direction. I hate this movie. It's literally cancer. There's your rating. Cancer out of 10. FRIGHTOBER 2017 has come to an end, and I can't think of any better way to send off this Halloween than by reviewing a movie so stupid and nonsensical that I had erased it from my childhood memories. Until now. I should also mention that the only reason I ever rented this in the first place was because the zombie on the cover looked like Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. And I paid $5 to see this movie, on VHS from a local convenience store. I didn't even get this from a video store, that's how bargain bin we're talking here. Anyway, Dead Hate the Living starts off with a mortician getting attacked by a zombie and, oh god,
That was great, you guys.
Oh, it's just a movie. Within a movie. Literally one of the biggest horror movie cliches in existence. That's a great way to start things off. So, a team of wannabe filmmakers are filming what I could imagine would turn out to be a modern-day classic in an abandoned hospital. We have great characters like Sister, Bitch Sister that I can't wait to see die, the big dumb guy, the stoner, the emo chick, the director willing to do anything to get his movie done, and, well, this guy.
Hi, Marcus.
Damn. Question, how did you know it was me?
Yeah, I'm totally with him. How did you see past his amazing disguise of green makeup? The sister and Ivan Drago find a side room where they come across a camcorder and play the tape by plugging it into a blood-covered TV rather than just using the camera's built-in fold-out screen that isn't covered in blood. What? They investigate further into the hospital and stumble across Rob Zombie's dead body in a coffin, and rather than call the cops or do anything a smart person would do, they decide to use the dead body in the movie. 'Cause production value, why not? But Oops. They accidentally bring Rob Zombie back to life and open a portal to the world of the dead, and zombies come through, and, well, there's your movie. The rest of the movie just consists of the surviving members of the crew running around being chased by a couple of zombies while they're slowly picked off one by one. But the one person I was itching to see die, the bitch sister, gets killed off screen, and you don't even get to see it. Why would you deny me this? The effects are just top-notch stuff. I especially like how you can clearly see this chick's lips behind her zombie mouth, which isn't supposed to have lips. Good stuff. Or these fire effects that look like one of the stock effects that you'd find bundled with Adobe After Effects. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. There's a lot of just shit that doesn't make sense either. Like, why isn't this nemesis-looking zombie able to lift the vent door and follow the people who ran in there when they clearly just lifted it up? I mean, the door even kind of comes off when he grabs it. Dude, just pull the vent off. But where this shit really gets delusional is when Rob Zombie starts raising zombies from the grave, which is a fake set. Literally, it's a set that the film crew had for their movie. Oh, hey, Lucio Fulci. Cool. But why are zombies coming out of a fake grave, man? This movie sucks, but it's one of those movies that could probably be enjoyed if you had a whole bunch of friends with some booze in hand. However, I watched this completely alone, which gave me plenty of time to ponder just what the hell I'm doing with my life. Why am I here? Just to suffer?